Yo, what's happening?
Yo, what's
Hello? Hello? Why don't these effects work on live? Man, lame. We're back. We're back. We had to take yesterday off, which I didn't want to do whatsoever. I did not want to take yesterday off because I think momentum is key. Momentum is everything. But we had some things that we needed to get figured out. Well, actually, really what happened was my mom bought a condo. My mom bought a new condo, and so I had to help her move in. And I had this other idea, a great idea in my opinion. And I had to train. I had to work out, and then I had to train my peeps, my kids. I had to train my kids. Not like my kids, but like the kids that come to me for performance training. So anyway, if you guys are in the chat, if you're in the live, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Join our free 2-week training program in the description below. But like this video so that it gets pushed in the algorithm. I'm super happy to be back. I just had stuff that I needed to handle yesterday. Real life stuff. You know, I had to go, had to help my mom move in to her new place. So I had to move stuff from her old place to her new place with her. And then I people probably think I'm like manic or crazy. Yesterday I had this idea. Okay. Yesterday I had this what's happening? Yesterday, so I got inspired. There's this kid who's at my gym who's 17 years old, and he makes so much money. And he does it because he has systems in place, right? He has systems in place where he has businesses and then other people basically work for his business, and then he doesn't do anything. So yesterday I had a really, what I think, a good idea. And I'm starting a mobile automotive detailing business. So I had that idea yesterday. And when I have these really good ideas, or like what I deem to be really good ideas, I just jump. I just move. I just start going. I work on it. I do it. I get it done. And anytime that I've had this type of feeling, right? It's been the podcast. It's been the POTS coaching. Whenever I have there's been a couple other instances in my life, but whenever I have these like ideas that are very acute and sharp, and I can see it and feel it in my head, I have to move on it because I know something's going to come out of it. And so after working out and moving my mom, working out, all this stuff, I went straight to go getting all this stuff. I went straight to go get all the stuff. And so now we have this stuff. I used to detail cars way back in the day, actually. When I was I think I was like 21 years old, made a bunch of money doing it. It was just really hard on my body. And so now I'm like, if I already know how to do it, that means I can train people how to do it. And then we can like just hit a bunch of neighborhoods and hit a bunch of cars. Yeah. So anyway, just trying to find ways to make some more money, but also help my high school kids make some money, because I think that, yeah, I just want to help. I want to help. So if I can facilitate a way for people to get income, I think it's good. So anyways, today I want to talk about how you got POTS syndrome. I want to talk about the utility of knowing how you got POTS syndrome. So if you're in this live, make sure you hit that like button so I know that you guys want to hear about this. So I know you want me to talk about this topic. It's only 9:37. I'm already almost done with this coffee. This coffee usually lasts me until about 11 a.m. It's not going to do that today. It's not going to make it. I got to plug in my computer. Looks like it's about to die. But along with all the other stuff that I'm doing, I mean, there's really not that much other stuff that I'm doing. I'm doing a podcast, I'm doing this auto detailing business, and then I'm doing the POTS coaching. I'm really trying to figure out more ways to enhance the experience in my app for people. And I'm just consistently working on it. Like the next 4 weeks of programming, because we're coming up on the 4th week for a lot of people. I think that this is the 4th week for a lot of people. The next 4 weeks, I want to make super accessible to all the people who have actually been like, the problem with the app is that I can't really see who is following to a T. Like when I have my one-on-one clients in my app, they have to check off every workout that they've done. They have to. That way I can keep track of everything. But with the app, I can't really keep track of like who's doing what, right? I know the progressions that I want to make, and it's not supposed to be super tailored to each individual person. That's what the one-on-one coaching that's what the one-on-one coaching is for. And the self-paced track is for people who like, you know, maybe they can't afford the one-on-one coaching, or like maybe they're skeptical and they want to make progress. So I have progressions that I want to put in, but I also try to keep track of what people are doing in the app and what they're saying and stuff so that I can tailor it towards the majority at least. I want to tailor it towards the majority so that, so that everybody does find results. And I know as it scales, as it gets bigger, that's going to be impossible. We're over 20 members in the app forum, I think. So when we get to like 100, it's going to be really hard to scale the program out to fit everybody. But that's why I'm going to design multiple tracks for people. So I already have like the track that you can follow in there. And then there's like the substitution track, like another position. So like if you have equipment, if you don't have equipment, if you have equipment, if you don't have equipment. But the thing that I want to do is try to systemize it. I don't know. I want to try to dial this in. I have to get on the phone with tech support. I want to dial this in where when you get in, there's a questionnaire, there's a par queue, there's all that stuff. But I want to be able to have a questionnaire that can answer what position you're already in. So like, are you highly functioning? Are you moderately functioning? Are you low functioning, bedridden? I want to have it separated like that so that when you answer the questionnaire, it'll put you on the track that you should be on or refer you to me for one-on-one. Lobster squid. I had symptoms my whole life, but it accelerated after COVID in 2021. Then more after living in an apartment with a mold issue that I was unaware of until I saw it diagnosed in 2023. Yeah. So, you know, what I'm seeing, the more people that I work with and the more people that like join the app and share their experiences and stuff, this is going to be part of kind of what the talk is today. I'm seeing more and more, how do you say it? More and more trends within the POTS community. And I'm not sure that not that I'm not sure that people aren't seeing it, but I'm seeing a lot of trends. And I guess we'll just talk about it. There's a lot of trends for people in the POTS community. And what they tend to be is, I don't know how many of you guys know about like OCD and ruminating thoughts and intrusive thoughts and stuff like that. But it seems to be that a lot of people with POTS have the same characteristics in terms of ruminating thoughts, anxiety, and like OCD thoughts. So like even intrusive thoughts, right? Intrusive thoughts can be a whole host of things. But like, you know, we're not going to talk about like the really dramatic ones, right? Because there are pretty, you know, intense intrusive thoughts. But intrusive thought, I don't think people really think of this, that they can also be doomsday, like, what if this happens to me? I'm going to die. What, you know, like stuff like that. It can be that. And it seems that, you know, even when somebody tells you that you're okay, you don't have anything like life-threatening happening, people with POTS always think something is life happening. So there's like a mental health component to this. Yeah. I have OCD, convinced myself I was a hypochondriac, so I never got help until my PCP said something. Yeah. And so OCD, when a lot of people think about OCD, they just characterize it in like people need to tap a bunch or they need to do all these rituals or whatever. But OCD, is also intrusive thoughts, ruminating thoughts, things of that nature. And it seems to be that a lot of people with POTS have these characteristics, and they're unaddressed. And so part of what I do with people with POTS is like, they don't want to do certain things because they're scared of the what if. They've never actually had a bad experience. They're scared of the what if this happens. So part of what I do with people is exposure therapy, literally. I've had people say that they don't want to go on hikes because they're scared to pass out. And I'll be like, well, have you ever passed out? No. Okay. So you don't even have a reference, but they're like, no, but I have felt like I was going to pass out. And I'm like, but if you've never passed out, you literally don't have the data to know what that's going to feel like. Now, you may have pre-syncope and get stars and stuff, but people without POTS get that. I mean, if you talk to enough people, the majority of people have experienced pre-syncope before. I've had a client who has passed out before because she's had overstimulation of the vagus nerve from riding a horse. And so there's like, more oftentimes than not, it's the fear of what if than if it actually is going to happen, which is the interesting part. That's one of the characteristics of POTS that I'm finding is very, very common, is that it's the fear of what if. It's the ruminating thought of what if. It's the intrusive thought of something bad happening. So, and when you look at a lot of people's profiles that talk about they have POTS, it's always accompanied with, it's almost never just POTS. It's always accompanied with POTS, OCD, ADHD, PTSD. Always that, right? And so what kind of drives me insane about that is those same people that put that in their profiles, right? And this is just real talk. This is just real talk. The same people that put that stuff in their profiles are like, the doctors brushed me off as anxiety and blah, 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 blah. It would be kind of hard not to do that. And I'm not saying that you don't actually have POTS and that it's not real, because it definitely is and you definitely do. But that other stuff could be adding to the issue. It could be adding to the problem. So it's not that you don't have POTS. It's that it's not that you don't also have POTS. It's that those things could be adding to the symptoms, or your symptoms could be adding to those things. And then it's like people hold themselves back, and it's not necessarily that they're holding themselves back, but the mental illness component, the PTSD, the OCD, the anxiety, the whatever, holds them back even more. But then they're convinced that it's none of that. It's just the POTS that's dealing with them in that moment in time, instead of like it's anxiety as well. I need to face the fear. I need to face the anxiety. So it's like there's a multitude of things and there's a multitude of angles in which people actually have to fight this thing. And it's a tough battle. It's a tough battle, but it's possible. So I think that people need to, and it's hard to do this, but you need to be aware. Is it anxiety as well that's attacking me in this moment? If it is, then you need to attack that anxiety head on and maybe do the thing that you don't want to do. Maybe do the thing that you're scared of doing. So if you're like scared to go for a hike, and you're convinced that it's POTS that's holding you back, just try to do the hike. Try to do it. And even if it's only a couple minutes, at least you faced it a little bit. S. Hughes. I went out on the tilt table test and my blood pressure dropped so low that the hospital pressure machine could not detect it. That happens. That happens. Lobster squid. I realize that that's exactly my issue and I get help for it now, thankfully. The anxiety portion or the OCD, the mental health portion of it. Both, yeah. Good. Yeah, and I bet you since you've started doing that, you've probably gotten at least marginally better. You've probably gotten better than if you hadn't done that. Better than if you hadn't done it. I would suspect. All right, so let's talk about how you got POTS syndrome. And why I don't think it's important whatsoever. So Look, I've actually done a video on this, like a full video on it. You guys can go on my page and go to Lobster Squid. I'm happy for you. And you can go on my page and go to the video that's titled How I Got POTS Syndrome. And I go over this at length in that video. Like I kind of go a little bit hard on it. And I'm going to go a little bit hard today too. How you got POTS syndrome. Doesn't matter. Should you be concerned with that? I think that always having more data always is very good, right? So like if you know that you did some sort of damage because you took methamphetamines, or if you were a drug addict, or you had like a traumatic brain injury, that's all really good, fine and dandy, right? However, the fact is at the end of the day that you have POTS syndrome, and it seems that POTS syndrome needs to be treated the same way always, no matter what. That's the POTS component. Don't get it twisted with what caused you POTS that you might be lingering around and treating that. That's a different story. We're just talking about the POTS portion. I don't think that it's useful for people with POTS to ruminate on how they may have gotten POTS for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is that people with POTS, by and large, ruminate way too much. And when they try to figure out how they got POTS syndrome specifically, first off, you could probably never figure that out. It's in the past. If you didn't know that you got it from something, you're probably not going to figure out how you got it. You're just going to be left here on devices and just be wondering the entire time. It's always going to be your best educated guess. Is it even useful to know? I don't know. But anyway, what happens is, and this is what I've seen with a lot of people, they get so hung up on how maybe they got POTS. And then how maybe they got POTS turns into, wow, I found more symptoms, and this is symptoms of this thing. And then this thing leads to this thing. And then now I need to go see this specialist. Now I need to go see that specialist. Now I have to consume all my time with POTS and what happened and what else do I need to get checked for and what other doctor should I see. And then it takes up your entire free time and your entire life. Your life is consumed by this never-ending wonder of how you got sick. That's the number one reason why I don't think it's useful for you to try and figure out and try to guess how you got POTS syndrome. So many people in the POTS community get stuck in this thought loop of, how did I get it? Was it a virus? Was I abusing caffeine? Was I overworking? Blah, 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 blah. Regardless of the fact, right? Let's say that you broke your leg. Let's say that you got blackout drunk and you woke up with a broken leg. Do you need to know how you broke your leg in order to figure out how to treat the broken leg? No, you just put a cast on it. Like it'd be helpful. It'd be nice if you knew how you broke the leg, especially if you were blackout drunk. You'd probably be like, well, I'm never going to do that again, right? But it doesn't matter. You broke your leg. So now you just got to fix the broken leg. The same thing goes for POTS. So many people get so on paralysis by analysis. They don't make movement on anything because they don't make movement on anything. They don't start doing anything in a positive direction because they're so hung up on, how did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It seems to be that always, no matter what, whether it was viral, catecholamine response, all these different things, you treat it the same and you do the same things, and always the same things are going to help. Hydration, electrolytes, exercise in a progressive manner, some sort of aerobic exercise, heart rate variability, rest and recover, stuff like that. This is all how you treat it no matter where it came from. Now, that's not to say if you got it from a viral infection, if you got it from a viral infection and you have a lingering viral infection, but this is after you know that you got blood tests for it and whatever, that you have a lingering blood test or lingering viral infection, then yeah, you should treat the viral infection, but that probably isn't going to take away the POTS. That's probably just a part of it. It may make it a little bit better. So you still have to do the things that push you in a positive direction. But oftentimes, from my experience, I work with people with POTS, right? So I can say this. I work with people, a lot of people with POTS. Oftentimes, they just get hung up on how and why, and it turns into, I have this now, maybe I have this, maybe I have this, I have this symptom, and it becomes a thought loop. Like we were talking about with the OCD and the anxiety and stuff, that it adds to that. So now we're having ruminating thoughts, intrusive thoughts about what could happen, what is happening, am I going to get better, am I going to get worse? And you never are able to focus on actually doing the things that are going to make a difference for you. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good place to be. And a lot of people will justify this behavior by saying, I'm just trying to get to the root cause. I'm trying to figure it out. Dude, you have symptoms. Treat the symptoms. You know you have POTS. Treat the POTS. Get better. And if things stay around, yeah, absolutely, go. But you can't get stuck in a loop where you literally make no movement. That's not positive, and that is not being your own advocate. That's not helping your situation at all whatsoever. I got diagnosed with POTS, Betty R. I got diagnosed with POTS 5 days ago, so I'm new to this. However, now that I learned a bit about it, I think I have POTS since teenage time. At least I'm happy I found your YouTube channel specifically after reading what POTS is and what changes you should do. I think I've done most of the changes throughout my life. I'm so happy about your positive looking forward approach. Hey, I love that. Thanks so much. Hey, Betty, if you're new to this channel and and you haven't already, hit that link in my description to join our Positive POTS forum and community. There's a workout program there. There's a bunch of resources on hydration, heat tolerance, diet, a whole bunch of stuff. It's free for the first 2 weeks. After that, it's $50 a month. But yeah, there's a bunch of people in there that can relate to your experience, that you can talk to, positive manner. We only have a positive focus on symptoms. If you're talking about your symptoms, it's not a woe is me thing. It's, hey, I have symptoms. This is how I'm dealing with it. You're going to see a lot of people doing that and a lot of people that can relate to you. So anyway, yeah, I'm glad that you're here at least. I'm glad that you're on the YouTube channel. I'd love to have you in the community. So that, all that to say, that was reason number one. That was reason number one why I don't think it's useful to even worry about how you got POTS. Reason number two is because, and I mentioned this already, reason number two is because it seems to be that no matter how you got POTS, if you have POTS, the treatment still remains the same. The things that you should do specifically for POTS seem to be the same. Now, if you have POTS and it's accompanied by a parasite, or you have POTS and it's accompanied by mold, are these things going to add to the POTS? Sure, but will you get better if you do all the things that you're supposed to do for POTS? Will you get marginally better from POTS? Yes, absolutely. Now, the parasite and the mold seems to be a different issue, so you have to address those issues, but you can still do the things for POTS, right? What happens is it kind of becomes this thing where it's like almost like people are like, I can't start a YouTube channel because I don't have a camera. We have a cell phone, right? Yeah, but I need the latest and greatest. No, but you have a cell phone, right? Well, yeah, so just start because you have a cell phone. So just start. It's like when you have POTS and you know that you have mold toxicity, heavy metal, toxicity, and a parasite, whatever it is, it's like, well, you have POTS, right? Yeah, but I can't start until I treat the mold and the heavy metals. Well, no, but you have POTS, right? It's like, yeah, but no, you have POTS. So you know that you should probably at least start some sort of formal exercise and start hydrating and start changing up your diet a little bit, right? It's like, well, yeah, I guess so. No, not I guess. Like, yes, you should be doing those things, and then you can address these other things as well. But just because you have these other things doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing the thing that's going to benefit one of these right here, right? It's the same. It's akin to like, I have POTS, I have mold, I have heavy metal. Okay, the naturopath gave me binders and chelators for the heavy metals. So I can't exercise because I'm taking binders and chelators. It's like, well, why not? Why? Well, because I should do one thing at a time. No, why not? I mean, exercise, no matter what position you're in, healthy, chronically ill, anything, that's a positive effect on your life in general. You should probably do it. Hydrating and learning how to supplement with electrolytes is a positive push in the direction forward. So you should probably do it. So it's like people are always waiting for like the latest and greatest or like the newest answer or like, what can I do for these things? Or I have these symptoms, so I'm going to treat these symptoms before treating. No, just do the things you're supposed to do. It's like, it's not that hard. People just like to come up with excuses on why they can't do things yet, or I'm going to wait until this or whatever. And it's like, especially in the POTS community, right? So many of these people are just like, I'll do it tomorrow. Like, I just don't feel good today, so I'm going to start tomorrow. It's like, no, you don't feel good today because you waited until tomorrow yesterday. And you're not going to feel good the next day because you waited until tomorrow 2 days ago. Like, if you keep pushing it off, you're going to keep pushing it off. Just start. It doesn't make sense to not start. Especially exercise is accessible to everyone. Hydration is accessible to everyone. It's not exclusive to the rich. It's not exclusive to the able-bodied even. People, it's not exclusive to anybody. Exercise is accessible to every single person on the planet. Check out my live from yesterday or 2 days ago. We talked about steps, step counts. It's accessible to everybody. You can get some sort of exercise. Just because you think exercise in your head, just because exercise in your head is killing it on a 10 rep back squat, that doesn't mean that that's what exercise means. You know, just because you see on TikTok all these people doing bicep curls, clean and jerks or whatever, and you associate exercise with that, doesn't mean that's what exercise means. Exercise means steps. Exercise means getting, walking, getting a walk in every single day. It's accessible to everyone. Do it. Just do it. Stop focusing on how I got POTS syndrome, all this stuff. You can get your blood work done. You can get all these different tests done. Don't let it give you paralysis by analysis. Just start doing positive things. Just start doing the good things. This almost never matters. Almost never does it matter how you got POTS syndrome. It almost doesn't matter. The origin basically does not matter. I'm excited, guys. I have only been in this program for a month, but already see positive improvement from these POTS symptoms just doing steps. Let's go. Let's go, Satsuko. You guys, I'm really excited. Next week, I'm having the owner of Third Z, the banner that you see right here, Dr. Justine Lucchini. I don't remember. She's going to come on live with me either next Tuesday or Thursday, and we're going to talk about sleep and recovery and why it's so important. She doesn't want to talk specifically to POTS because it's not her wheelhouse, but I'm going to ring it in, right? I'm going to ring it in and talk about why it's so important for POTS. Just in general, you guys should know sleep, recovery, rest, recovery is like the most important thing that you can do for your health. In my opinion, it's the most important thing you can do. And admittedly, I'm not always the best at it, but I know that it should be number one on your list. It literally keeps you alive. Hold on. They're talking about the dogs. So rest and recovery, sleep, I think is the number one thing that you can do for your health in general, chronic illness or not. Sleeping is like a steroid, basically. It's a hack. It's a life hack, if you will. So yeah, I'm having Dr. Justine Lucchini on the channel to talk to me and you guys about sleep, how to get better sleep, supplementing if you need to supplement, why stuff about Third Z, why it's so good, why it's so important. And yeah, I think it'll be a really insightful conversation. So that's the first guest on this channel. The first guest, positive direction, trying to take this in a positive direction, trying to get more resources for you guys, trying to get more experts in the field for all the things in order to help you guys out for free. The only thing that I ask you guys to do, sub to the channel, like the lives, like the videos, hit that link in the description for the training camp, the training program. If you feel like you need help with exercise, recovery, managing symptoms and stuff like that, that's all I ask you guys to do. But I want to try to make my YouTube channel and my app the biggest, largest resource for people with POTS to go to in order to make progress on their own and be their own health advocates. The next person that I'll probably reach out to is and actually they asked me, Third Z did. But the next two people I'll probably be reaching out to is Dr. Tyler Pansner. That's his handle on Instagram. And probably Dr. McCoy. I forget his first name, but McCoy, McCoy. Tyler Pansner will be able to talk to you guys more in depth about genes and supplementing for your gene type, why it's so important, why you shouldn't just take any supplements on the market. that type of thing. So that'll be really insightful for you guys. He'll be able to go over some blood marker stuff, some blood test stuff too. And then Dr. McCoy, I'll probably have him on to talk more about like longevity and health and functional medicine. He was an ER doctor in California, and then he created his own practice. Now he's a functional medicine doctor. Basically he practices, his own. And so I'll probably talk to him about blood tests, histamine, what's it called? Homocysteine, stuff like that. And then the person that I'm really, 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 really hoping for is Dr. Ben Lynch. But I need to make a little investment, I think, in order to get a hold of him. So, yeah. Is there anything else that you guys want to know on this how you got POTS syndrome topic? Anything else that I can hit? I feel like I did 30 minutes of that, and that's about all I can think of when it comes to how you got POTS syndrome and why I don't think it's useful to know. Or it could be useful to know. Because again, if you have a viral infection, you want to know that you had a viral infection. And then you want to know if you have a lingering viral infection. That's just an example. That's one of the best examples that I can give. Is autonomic dysfunction the same as POTS? No. From my understanding, no. POTS is a subtype of dysautonomia. It's a subtype. A subtype? Is that the right terminology? So when I got diagnosed with POTS, this was years ago, right? When I got diagnosed with POTS, it was called dysautonomia. Dysautonomia was the umbrella term, which is autonomic dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. And then POTS had certain characteristics that seem to be changing, to be honest, year to year. It seems to be changing what the characteristics of POTS are, because because now people are talking about like different types of POTS. And when I got diagnosed, there wasn't different types of POTS. There was just POTS, and that was a type of dysautonomia. I think POTS is one type of manifestation of dysautonomia, right? Yeah. Yeah. From my understanding, and I've been in this for like 7 years. From my understanding, yeah. So yeah, dysautonomia was the umbrella term. And then there was like categories under that. POTS was one of them. The characteristics of POTS were not back in the day. Dysautonomia is autonomic dysfunction, and POTS is a type of it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Lobster Squid. When I got diagnosed with POTS, it wasn't characterized by all the things that it's characterized by now. There was like, you had to meet certain requirements, and the requirements were like you didn't have to pass out on the tilt table test. That didn't have to be a characteristic of it. More times than not, people with POTS do not pass out. From my experience and from what I was told, more times than not, they don't. They get presyncope, but they don't actually pass out. More times than not. That's not to say that there's not an exception. Please don't get me twisted on that. But they had to be characterized by two things. You needed two things to happen. And that was I think systolic blood pressure had to drop by 20 points when you stand up. And then your heart rate had to go up over 30 points, had to raise by 30 points plus in order for you to have POTS. And that was a dysfunction of your autonomic nervous system. And that one was characterized as POTS. That's what POTS characteristics were. Now, it seems that as the years go on, there's more and more and different types of POTS and different requirements for POTS. I don't really stay up to date with all of that stuff, with what the requirements are now and what the different types of POTS are, because no matter what, I've worked with people that have like all the different types of POTS, right? Like one type and then another type. Either way, it still seems to be that you treat it the same. So that's why, to me, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? And dysautonomia as well. Like the umbrella, if somebody comes to me and they're like, yeah, I have dysautonomia, we're not really sure like what. And I'm like, okay. So you have to exercise, and you have to learn how to hydrate, and you have to learn what the proper ratio of electrolytes are. It's basically what it seems like to me. So yeah, I think as the years go on, we might get more insight as to, I don't know. I don't really know how many people are doing research on dysautonomia and POTS. There's really not that much literature compared to other chronic illnesses or just, illnesses in general. There's really not that much on POTS in comparison. There's not that much in dysautonomia in comparison. I know that there's like whole clinics now, and people are doing more research. So, but the problem is that the research doesn't come out for a long time, and so you just got to do what you can with the information that you have, right? All right. What other questions do you guys have on this POTS thing? Like I said, yesterday I couldn't go live, which really bummed me out, but I couldn't go live because I had to help my mom move into her new condo. Then I had to work out. Then I had this idea of starting a mobile automotive detailing business. So I got started on that. Yeah. And now it's just like today I got to do some stuff for that. I got to do some stuff for the website. I got to do some stuff for the app. I have so many things to do. And this is when I thrive. This is when I really thrive, when there's a lot to do. I'm going to have to come up with questions for next week for Dr. Justine Lucchini. Even though, I don't know, how do you guys want to do this? Look, hold on, let me answer this first. So besides vitamin deficiencies, are there other things one should exclude while dealing with the POTS symptoms? So besides vitamin deficiencies, are there other things one should exclude while dealing? I don't think I understand your question. Exclude or include? How do you guys want to do this? I think that next week would be really fun to have a question and answer, but that means that I need you guys to be present, right? Like I need the POTS army in this live for next week. I think it'd be useful to do a Q&A, and it cannot be POTS exclusive. It has to be just on sleep. And trust me, if you guys get your sleep questions answered, it's going to help your POTS. So try not to make it POTS exclusive. You could ask, what are the effects on sleep with the autonomic nervous system? Why is sleep so important for the autonomic nervous system? What does the autonomic nervous system do? She's a doctor of chiropractic, I'm pretty sure too. So she's knowledgeable. She understands the autonomic nervous system for sure. So I think it would be really cool. I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to, schedule a YouTube live. And then when I do that, you guys should go get notified or whatever and put yourself in the waiting list. That way, like, you guys can be present for the hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of podcasting that we'll do. We'll talk over some points that need to be talked over. And then you guys can ask her specifically about the ingredients that are in there. You can ask her, specifically about sleep, like about what you want to know about sleep, what you want to know about recovery, what are other good modalities for recovery, stuff like that. But it can't be POTS exclusive, right? I will hone the conversation and to answer some of the POTS questions. But yeah, I think that that'll be good. I think that if you guys come to the chat with questions for the experts, that's the best way that we can do this. And look, I want to grow this with you guys. I want to do this with you guys. I want to be able to serve you guys the way that you guys want to be served. I don't want to just like come in this with like a know-all mindset where I'm just like, yeah, I know what these people want to hear. I know what they want to know. I think it's best when the people who have access to the experts, which would be you guys, are able to interact and have questions. So you'll ask in the chat, and then I'll be like, hey, Dr. Lucchini, Mike asks, I will start on a list of questions. I have lots of questions around sleep. Let's freaking go. Let's do it. And I'm also going to put in our training group in the forum, for people to be present, to let them know. I just have to, we have to We have to commit to the schedule. Should we submit the questions to you beforehand? That might be good. That might be good. I also want it to be interactive though. I want it to be interactive because I think that's the most fun. And I think that that's the way that podcasts should go. I think that's the way that that live should go. It's boring. It's boring otherwise, you know? Like part of the fun part of chats, even for like live streamers, is the fact that the chat is going and it's like, okay, let's touch on this one. Let's touch on this one. This, you know, like it's fun. It makes it fun. Jazand, what's up? Good to see you in here. I think it would be most respectful over time if you first show your questions and have us add, and then during the live, you have a second person reading the chat and deciding when to jump in. Yeah, that could be good too. I think I'm going to have my girlfriend present for this one so that she can be a part of it. She'll probably sit on the couch. I have 2 cameras and I have the ability to live stream multiple cameras at once. So I think what I'll do is I'll figure that out, or I'll have somebody else, you know, come in who's interested in this stuff. My girlfriend's really interested in this stuff too. And then, yeah, we'll just have like her or somebody else who can read the chat, chime in almost like I also have this other guy who wants to be like basically a producer for my other show for live streams and stuff, because we're getting ready to gear up on doing more content there too. As soon as I can get all this stuff automated, right? Like I want the POTS program to be in a good place before I go a little bit hands off with it, which I'll never be hands off with that. I'm always going to be super dialed in with it. Any business that I get my hands in, I need to be in control of all the time, because if things like I've had the experience where if my vision doesn't happen, like if what I want and what I know needs to happen doesn't happen, it's not going to be, how do I say it? Like if I let somebody else manage the POTS group, it's not going to work, you know, because I need it to go my way. Like it needs to be my way because I know how to serve people. I guess that's just what I'm trying to say. Anyway, this dude wants to be the producer of my other show for when I go live. So I think that it's either going to be him or it's going to be Heather that's going to be in doing kind of what Jazan said, jumping in when necessary type thing. Betty, I like the answering the questions during the live approach. Thanks. Yeah, I think that'll be a good thing. But Betty, can you specify on your question up top? I don't want to skip over that. I want to try to answer that to the best of my abilities if possible. Also, your lives get no shade, just a few views, so I would personally focus on it being very watchable for people who watch it after the fact. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Because I'm not like, so I'm going to record this live too. It's going to double as a podcast for my other channel as well. Or not for my other channel, for my podcast. It's going to double as a podcast for my actual podcast. So yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. I think though, well, not I think though, I think part of the issue with not a bunch of views on the lives is like I never schedule lives. You know, I don't have them scheduled. I'm trying to dial all this stuff in. I'm trying to figure out how it all works. I'm learning slowly but surely. We're getting more live concurrent viewers on average than we were last month, which is really good. But yeah, still it's only like right now we're at like 7 if it's right. Before there was more. But yeah, if it's right, we're at 7. So, what other questions do you guys have? What kind of like experts would you guys like to see on this channel? What kind of experts? Like she's a doctor of chiropractic. I would say that she's a sleep specialist because she has a sleep, supplement company. Betty R. The question about the vitamin deficiency. So I read that some pot symptoms may be more problematic if there are some vitamin deficiencies that one is not aware of. Yes. Yes. So I think your question is should you address the vitamin deficiencies? Yes. And I think that you're asking that because of what I said before about like focus on like if you have mold toxicity, if you have oh, so what else should we check? Magnesium, something else. So the things that I seem, or the things that I see that people are usually deficient in, I don't want to say deficient, things like blood markers that I see people have that can be off when, when having POTS, because with every single client that I have them get a CBC, a one-on-one client, I have them get a CBC, I have them get certain stuff. So what I would be checking for is iron, ferritin, B12, B6, homocysteine, white blood cell count. And then, is there one more? That's it. Sometimes testosterone for men. Sometimes test. But that's not always included with people's insurance. But those are usually the blood markers that I want to see. Low iron counts and ferritin and stuff are heavily associated with symptoms that are associated with POTS. So if you're low iron, you can have a lot of the same symptoms as POTS. If you're low sodium, you can have a lot of the same symptoms. The thing is that like not many people are deficient in sodium, like blood, in their blood. That doesn't mean that you're taking in enough sodium in a day if you have POTS though. So I think, yeah. Those are the types of blood tests that I would be getting. Magnesium and potassium, stuff like that. I mean, that's going to come on your CBC anyway, for the most part. Sodium will for sure. Oh, and I have people check their BUN, BUN, which should be included on a CBC. Oh, Switzerland in the house. Health insurance is a bit, yeah, I've heard. I mean, to be fair, America's health insurance isn't all that great. Well, I think you guys have to wait forever to get into a hospital, don't you? Or to get into a specialist or a PCP and stuff like that. In America, wait times they're pretty long now. So insurance doesn't really matter in terms of that. And insurance is ridiculously expensive. I'm a business owner, so I have to do like my own health insurance. And when I was like getting the top tier health insurance for a while, I was paying $637 a month. Each month, $637. That was just for me. Just for me. And then I like took the bare minimum because I'm like, I'm not going to the hospital anymore. I'm not going to the doctor's office anymore. So I just try to pay most things out of pocket. $1,300 a month? What? This is also in 2019, I should say. I paid that from like 2016 to 2019. $1,300 a month for health insurance? Through your employer. Wait, is that your deductible or is that you have to pay that per month? Whoa, $1,300 a month for a deductible would be freaking crazy. So never mind, it's probably not that. That's what's paid a month? But that's not out of your pocket, right? That's your employer? Or do you have to pay it? Like excuse my ignorance on this. I don't know at all. I haven't been employed by anybody since I was 21. It's part of the union benefits for a family. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I either got POTS from COVID, the COVID vaccine, or a jet ski crash. All happened within a couple months of each, and then symptoms kicked off after that. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's a bummer. That's a real bummer. What I would say is just do the things that benefit POTS. Do the things that benefit POTS. Make sure but make sure you've also done concussion, rehab, because that's definitely, that definitely sucks. Man, dude, COVID vaccine, dude. I just keep hearing more and more. It's like they want to deny so badly that this jab could have done anything bad to anybody. What the heck, dude? I just don't get it. I started really working with people with POTS in 2022 till now. 2022 is when I started to take on clients with POTS. Most of my clients got the jab. Most of my clients didn't end up getting POTS until after the cough. After the whole hysteria of the cough. A lot of them have had weird symptoms their entire life, but almost all of them have had, it's just, I don't know, dude. I don't want to get political or anything here. I think it's harmful to dismiss that fact too, that a vaccination with the spike protein in could cause all the issues that the illness could cause. I also had CVID a couple times, so it's hard to tell if that was a factor. I mean, look, anytime that you get a viral infection, especially when you have POTS, it exacerbates symptoms. Any viral infection can cause POTS, by the way. If you get a bad viral infection, it can cause that. It can be at least a cause of it. Again, I don't think it's really worth focusing on what the cause was for POTS. You just treat the POTS because it seems to be that you have to treat it the same no matter where you got it from. If you have a lingering infection, then you take care of that via antiviral, antibiotic, whatever it takes. But yeah, I think I got my opinions for sure. I've got my opinions. I think that it definitely exacerbates it. The jab does, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Crazy thing is, I got a tetanus, hepatitis A, and typhoid vaccine yesterday, and feel the best I've felt. No way. Oh gosh. All right. Okay. Hey. More power to you. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Who gets the flu shot? I disagree a bit here. If people get PMS, then progressive exercise can make them much worse. Yeah, but Jazan, so again, that's not just POTS, right? I'm talking about just POTS. We have to separate stuff, right? Because I used the example before of POTS. If you have POTS, mold toxicity, metal toxicity, all this stuff, you have to, we have to separate it all. Just because you have mold toxicity doesn't mean that you can't do the things that are going to benefit POTS. And also the other portion of that is progressive exercise can make them much worse with PEMS for sure. However, too many people look at exercise kind of like the live that I did 2 days ago. Too many people are looking at exercise in terms of formal cardio and conditioning rather than something that's accessible and not taxing on everybody, which is steps, walking. Everyone should do that. Everybody. You can start as little as you need to and then progressively make your way up, and it's going to improve your conditioning and your cardio in general, your fitness in general. There's a bunch of research on that. There's a bunch of research on walking and steps and how it improves cardiovascular fitness, insulin sensitivity, all these different things. So I think you're right with the caveat that those people are generally thinking that they need to go like do 20 minutes in a row of cardio instead of breaking up their conditioning into steps throughout the day. Yes, exactly. But I just want to stay very clear. Walking also makes me see CFS and post-COVID worse if you are not careful. Yeah, I think that that could be true, but there's still caveats to that, right? Like you have to know, like if we operate in that frame, right? Then you'll never know where to start or when to start or how to start. You have to find a place. You have to start somewhere. You have to start. And so you always, no matter what, it doesn't matter what condition you have. It doesn't matter if you're not chronically ill. It doesn't matter if you are a perfectly functioning human with no chronic illness or any health ailments. You have to start somewhere, and sometimes starting somewhere is too much. Sometimes that's just the risk that you take with trying anything. So, although I agree with you, I think that no matter what, you run the risk of finding out whether something was too much or too little. You always run that risk. I'd rather run the risk than not start at all. Satsuko, heck no. No flu shot, no CVID. One of the reasons I did not finish nursing school is because it was mandatory to get the jab in 2021. All right. Lobster squid. Yeah, that was really unfortunate that they did that to you guys. Lobster squid. It's hard to say where mine came from, but it's also genetic. I think I'm also hypermobile, but then again, I don't care how I got it. Just want to feel better. There we go. Facts. I think I actually, I'm not ready to fully commit to this, but I'm going to say I think there's a genetic component to it too. I don't know if it's passed down. I think I've heard, I've had clients say that they believe their family members had POTS and just didn't know, you know, and like their grandparents or their mom or their dad or whatever, uncles, and they just didn't know. So maybe it is a lineage thing, but also I think that there's a genetic component to it where there's mutations of genes that cause certain, I don't know, like adrenaline spikes or adrenaline dumps, stuff like that. And that's what's causing the POTS symptoms. When I worked a job where I was walking all day, I felt the best I ever did. Now I work from home and feel significantly worse. I was getting 10 to 15K steps a day to probably 5,000 at most. Yeah, see, Lobster Squid, join our training program. Join the training program. Go click that link in the description. I give you guys strategies on how to do that, how to keep the step count up. Yeah. 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 I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm trying to, yeah, never mind. So I think, and I did a live on this the other day. I think that step counts, stepping, walking is the best thing for POTS. And there's a whole bunch of, I mean, there's just so much research on walking and steps that I don't know. I don't know why anybody doesn't like, I don't know. I don't know why. Like if you look at all of the longest living societies, right? Like Japan, dude. Japan, they have like some of the highest life expectancy in the world. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Let's Google this. Yeah, Japan is number 4. And Singapore is number 2, Monaco number 1, number 3 is Macau. I don't know who that is. But the point is like all of the all like from top to bottom, you can see you can see that the societies that have the like large the longest life expectancies, the largest life expectancies, walk way more than the ones that don't. Like they are on average walking way more. Like even in Europe, right? Like a bunch of people in Europe have the MTHFR gene mutation, and it seems that a lot of things don't affect them the way that they do people here because they're eating leafy greens and they're de-stressing a lot. Like they don't really have a high focus like in Italy on, crushing work and grinding and stuff like we do. And they walk a lot too. Like there's so many lifestyle contributors to this stuff that people don't think about. Like people aren't thinking about the fact that their lifestyle has a huge, huge, huge impact on their health and how severe their POTS is and stuff like that. Like your lifestyle can take care of, oh man, I might be going out on a whim here, but your lifestyle can take care of 95% of the health ailments that you have. Even things like torn MCLs and ACLs, like stuff like that, dude, gets better, marginally gets better. With things like walking and exercise. Like it's becoming more and more more recognized that even surgery a lot of times for a lot of injuries can be circumvented through what? Through movement, through exercise. And that physical therapy and surgery for a lot of different ailments, when it comes to, injury, there's a 50-50 shot. It's like if you do PT, prolonged PT, and you do surgery, that they most times have the same outcomes. The difference is that surgery, like on an ACL, MCL, let's just use those things as examples, right, for your knee. The difference is with the surgery, you go through trauma. Your body goes through trauma. It holds on to that. It like doesn't attack your nervous system, but it definitely has an effect, right? And you have to use anesthesia. You have to use all these different things, right? And the recovery is actually longer more times because you have to first you get the injury, then you have to schedule the surgery, you have to go through surgery, then you do post-surgery. Like not everybody goes to PT right away. That's kind of the direction that's going in, which is really good. Orthopedic surgery, straight to PT. But a lot of times doctors are still suggesting like 2 weeks of rest and then you go to PT, and PT is really slow. When you can probably circumvent most of that with stuff like stem cells, if you're into that. If you're not into that, then just go straight to PT. So lifestyle has so much to do with a lot of this stuff. Jazan, I biked everywhere as a Dutchie and I ate so healthy, was a sports teacher and did sports 2 times a week. I feel cheated by my genes. I think so. Okay. Check this out. Specifically, when we say things like eat so healthy, I feel like I should do a podcast on this because I don't know what that means. This is something that I have struggled with a lot, right? I don't know what that means. I think eating healthy for you is different than eating healthy for me. And also people like, you know what I mean? I get it. I get it. I get it though. I get what you're saying. And yeah, it sucks. Sometimes things just happen, I don't know. Sometimes things just happen. Like there's always going to be the exception and that sucks. Aaron, have you tried out nattokinase for POTS? I've seen a lot of people praise it. It might have a bit of a bearing on the lifespan in Japan due to it being really popular. I'd love to try peptides, but I'm not brave enough for that. No, I don't even know what that is. That's a peptide. The only peptide that I'm familiar with is BPC 157, and I've never taken it. I had a lot of friends that were really early to the peptide game. I'm talking like 8 years ago early. They were really early to the peptide game. And they swore by BPC 157. And now it's like the most popular thing ever. And people are like swallowing BPC 157. Healthy in the Netherlands means whole foods, grains, 400 grams of veggies. I had one hand of nuts and seeds and 2 pieces of fruit. Yeah. You leaving? Hold on, guys.
I'm supposed to use your truck, right?
Bye, Biz. So, and non-processed meat and fish. That's good. Natto is an enzyme. I haven't heard of it. I'm not familiar whatsoever. But I'm on the beans train. Oh, nice. Okay, so here's my thoughts on healthy diet. I think that healthy is individual to each person. I think that you should eat for function of your body. And so, Mike, you actually said this in the forum the other day, where you said that you eat for function. And I forget what else you said, but you said that you eat for function. And when people talk about function, a lot of times they mean that they eat for performance. And what I mean by eating for function is this: healthy foods. We can all agree that there is a category of healthy foods. Probably lentils, lean meats, greens, fruits, that type of thing, right? We can probably agree with that. Dairy should be included, in my opinion. We can agree on that. However, is it healthy for you if you get brain fog from nuts, for example? Specifically, is that healthy for you if you get that? I don't think so. I think healthy is super individual to the person. We can agree on the spectrum of healthy foods, right? That for most people, these things are healthy foods. However, if you notice that you have a reaction to any of these healthy foods, I don't know if that means that it's healthy for you. You get what I'm saying? I think, yeah, always you should try to stick to whole foods. I like some grains. I'm not huge on grains. I eat some rice. Whole foods, vegetables for the majority of people, and fruit for sure. I think that veggies can have a bad effect on a lot of people, actually, especially when they have like gut dysbiosis and certain things that's, gut permeability and things of that nature. I think that vegetables can add to the problem. But yeah, I eat for function now to better my POTS, so I'm not going after taste or what I really want more so than what my body genetics needs. Yeah, right there. That's what I think eating healthy and for function means. I think, yeah. I think that's what that means. Spinach affects me, although can't eat it. I know the farts are terrible, dude. And my arms get too big when I eat spinach. They get like Popeye, Popeyes. Oh yeah, no, but then at some point you are already sick. I feel like a normal diet should have prevented getting sick. Now that I am sick, I am on the FODMAP, ADHD, and antihistamine diet. Yeah, but okay, so then, yeah, no, I agree with you. Again, I agree with you. Ah, man, and this is why I wish that like gene reports were like standard in doctor's visits, right? Because a lot of this stuff you can circumvent if you know what your gene mutations are. And a lot of this stuff you can circumvent if you have regular blood work done. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be able to eat a bunch of food, but so many things can affect the turning on and turning off of your genes. Like you may have been able to eat cookies every single day of your life and you never were affected. And then suddenly you had a really stressful 3 months, and now cookies bother you to the nth degree. You know what I mean? Like it's like that type of thing. So there's so many things that can affect you, but I definitely agree with you that eating a healthy, normal diet should prevent you from being sick. It's just, I think that we're way more individual, especially with diet, than we ever could have guessed, than we ever could have thought. Again, it is what it is. It adds to the puzzle. It kind of makes this a little bit fun. But yeah, Jazan, I agree with you. I get reactions from spinach for some reason. Yeah. I wonder if kale would be a good option for you instead. I like cruciferous vegetables. Brussels sprouts are Brussels sprouts are so freaking good, dude. Oh my gosh. Some honey glazed Brussels sprouts. Oh, dude. They can tear up my tummy sometimes though. Jazan, yes, that would be so good. Yeah, I agree. I really think that should be standard in treatment and care. When I got my gene report done, there was some SNPs, there was some mutations that really made a lot of things make sense for me. Like a lot of things that made sense for me. I have a slow COMT variant. I have a SNP there. And so that explains to me why when I drink coffee, which by the way, it's a trade-off that I'm willing to make. When I drink coffee, my thoughts are racing and like I feel anxious inside, but I might look super relaxed, right? And that's just because my body has a hard time processing catecholamines. So it's slower developing. So like that caffeine just like has a slow trickle in my body. So I don't get like the jitters like some other people might. It just has slow trickle through my body. So I like might be internally on fire. But yeah, I think that's I don't know, man. I think that's like a superpower sometimes. Because I can just sit and just like dial in, narrow down what I have to narrow down. Hold on 1 second, guys. I got to answer this. Hey, I'm on live. What's up? It have to be later. Like after work. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye. That was my mother asking me about about what's it called? Spinach has exorphins and are overstimulating for the brain, just like gluten, lactose, and cacao. There could be more reasons, but I only know this one. Yeah. Yep. Again, right? I think that's highly dependent on your genealogy. Like some people are not going to be affected by spinach. That's why I always recommend modified carnivore for people. Modified carnivore when they have some stuff funky with food. I ordered all of the car detailing stuff that I need to start this business. It's all on its way. I have to detail a car today to make sure I'm up to standard, to make sure I remember how to do all this stuff. I'm pumped, guys. I'm pumped because I'm going to just start sending kids out to houses. I'm going to train some kids this Sunday and just get it popping, get it cracking. I'm excited. But yeah, yep, that can... The other thing is, and it's unfortunate, is that I think that... Oh, no. Did she take my wallet? Shoot. I need that. Hey, is my wallet in there under the stereo? Oh, thank you. All right. Love you. Bye. What was I going to say? I don't remember what I was saying, guys. I think a lot of this is very highly dependent on genes. That's all I can really say. And it's highly dependent on your blood markers too and where your gut is at. It like surprises me that standard of care for health doesn't include tests for your gut. It doesn't include histamine and homocysteine checks. It doesn't include a micronutrient profile and like hormone check, like hormones and gene report. Like, I just don't understand why none of that is checked. Like, it could be that for a woman, their estrogen levels have a big play on what's going on with their POTS. It could be that guys that have low testosterone could like, not could be, if a dude has low free testosterone, low free test, they're going to have so many health implications from that. It blows my mind that that's not part of standard of care, and that the range is so big and what's normal. And it's like, what? How is it like that? I just don't get it. And like when I got done with a bodybuilding prep, admittedly, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. When I got done with my bodybuilding prep in 2016, I think, I did a men's physique show, but I was so dieted down. I was 163 pounds, soaking wet on stage. I went to the doctor like a month after that or so, and I went to go get my testosterone checked. And because I knew it was going to be low, because I wanted to make the move to get on to the good stuff. And so I went to the doctor. I had a low reading, like low 200s. I had a low 200 reading. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to get tests now. I'm going to get testosterone. Because that's what it read was it read the same test levels as a 73-year-old man. But because it was within the normal range, they were like, we can't prescribe you testosterone. I was like, are you kidding me? What? And so I didn't tell them that that I had just done a bodybuilding show or anything like that. So they have no reference point to be like, hey, you just need to eat more and stuff, whatever. And for a long period of time in my life, actually, after that, I get my blood work done semi-frequently, right? So, but every year up until then, my test was only like, I think the highest reading was like maybe 600, maybe 6, which is like, okay, it's not that great. And then more recently, when I completely shifted my lifestyle to like really good stuff, right? Like I was cold plunging, frequently, the type of exercise that I do, which is CrossFit, and eating way more whole foods and like, really good quality beef, like grass-fed, grass-finished, all this stuff. Then I got a really nice testosterone reading, over 900. But yeah, 900 nanograms per deciliter. It was over. I think it was like 950. My free test was still like 125 or something nanograms per deciliter, but that can definitely be improved. So yeah, I just don't understand how all this stuff isn't standard of care yet. I have hope that as the marketplace opens up and more alternative medicine docs start opening practices and start opening clinics, that insurance companies will be like, oh my gosh, people are starting to use their actual money out of pocket to pay for this stuff. We need to start doing something about this. And insurance companies hopefully freak out and be like, hey, let's start including all this stuff, because people are going and getting it anyways. They might as well spend their money with us. I noticed there was a fluctuation with my test levels after adjusting the diet, supplements, etc. Yeah, for sure. And for guys too, when you adjust your lifestyle habits and your testosterone rises, you'll know. You will freaking know. Trust me. I stopped using plastics. I almost exclusively use glass containers. I fill my 5-gallon plastic water jug up, and that's not the greatest, but we keep it in a shaded area so that like the parabens and plastics don't melt into the water or anything like that. So am I still getting some plastic exposure? Absolutely. I would love to change that at some point. Like I'm going to get a what's it called? A reverse osmosis remineralized, system under the sink eventually. And I want to filter all of the water here, like the shower spouts and everything. It just takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. So we haven't done it yet, but I'm very hippie in the way that I do things. And being a hippie improved my life and improved my health. And I think that everybody could learn some stuff from the hippies. And facts, LOL, yes. So how does a guy know when his testosterone is doing better? Wake up in the morning and tell me you don't notice it. Don't eat plastics. Don't eat out of plastic or drink from plastic, or try to minimize your plastic use for like a month or so. Make sure that you're exercising hard, intensely for shorter durations of time. And eat lean meats, good quality meats, grass-fed, grass-finished, eat eggs. Make sure you're getting cholesterol in your diet, and don't do any of the stupid stuff. Like, why do you need to drink alcohol? It's so stupid. It's just stupid. Do all the good things, get good sleep. And then every single morning, keep track of the one thing that you know is going to tell you if your testosterone is in check. Morning wood. Morning wood. If you're like, seriously, this is actually like an issue. If you are a guy and you're not, if you're not waking up with that in the morning, That's a really good tall sign, whatever it is. It's a really good indicator that your testosterone is not in a good place. Especially if you're under like 50, bro. If you're under 50 and in your 50s too, like, dude, you should be having telltale. There we go, Jazan. It's a telltale sign, and I can only speak to adults to adult men about this. I can only speak for you guys, but in the morning, if you're not getting that thing, there's something up. Like there is something up. Once in a while, it's you could have a nightmare or whatever. But if you're not getting that in the morning, there is something wrong for sure. Your test might not be low, probably is, or you might be like overly stressed, but there's something not happening in your life. Even at my most, well, I'm not going to talk about me actually. And then women for their hormones too, you guys have a lot of things that you can look to. I don't know if I should, It's actually not up. What? There's a lot of telltale signs for females too about your hormones. But I don't know if I want to get in the weeds of that and be told that I'm that I'm not a woman, so you can't speak to women about this. And I'm not really up for that challenge right now. Normally I would be, but there's so much that goes into testosterone and affects people differently. You can have low levels and still have sex drive. It's a deep topic. Yeah, 100%. Jazan, I get it. That's funny. That was good. If you don't have it, something's up. It's actually not up. That's funny, dude. That was good. That was really funny. Yeah, it's a super deep topic, dude. There's so many things to dive in the weeds about test. Test is crazy. I mean, even for chicks, like testosterone has such a large effect and impact on health. It's crazy. Yeah, you can have low or you can have high sex drive still and not get and not have high levels of test. You can also have a high sex drive and not get the effect that you want. The thing. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that, a lot. But I am not a sex expert, so or a hormone expert. Yeah. All right, this took a weird turn. Somebody messaged me on Facebook Marketplace, guys, to buy my old subwoofers, my old car subwoofers. Somebody just asked to be a guest on my podcast too. He said, if you'd ever be interested in having another guest that can give some different perspective on how things have been changing over the last 10 plus years, he'd love to come on. Now, I told him, and I've told people this before, to give me perspective on, what you're talking about or what you would like to talk about. So we'll see if he answers. We'll see if he does it. My other podcast is called The Counterculture. If you guys haven't subscribed to that or don't listen to that, you should. If you're interested in like worldly stuff, we talk about the counterculture and like being self-employed and like talk about like masculine issues too, talk about religion, talk about fitness, talk about everything that's counterculture and lifestyle, why being sober is cool, stuff like that. Not being promiscuous, all these different things, like all these different issues. There's stuff that I've become very passionate about over the past few years. Well, I've been passionate about self-employment and entrepreneurship forever, but that's just a small piece of what we talk about. So if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. Some of the stuff might be triggering to some people. I don't really know what to say. It's kind of the point of the podcast, right? Is to talk about things that aren't very comfortable for people to talk about. I want to get into talking about, if you guys know anything about the red pill, I want to start attacking the red pill because they're such dorks. Guys, I have been getting so many hate comments on one of my podcasts on there, but the views are skyrocketing. The views are doing so well, but I've been getting so many hate comments. And let me go to the bathroom and then ask you guys a question about this. Yeah, give it the fire. That's just free advertising. LOL. Wait till I get my channel going. I got a big mouth. Can you imagine the haters? The hater taters. I'm going to get. That's funny. Okay, check this out. So, all right. I just got a really funny comment because somebody was like, so I just checked my comments so I could like tell you guys about this. Check this out. I've been getting so many hate comments on this podcast, and it is what it is. Whatever. For like, I'm genuinely, I'm not bothered by hate comments. I actually prefer to get hate comments than no comments because it helps push the video in the algorithm. So I have 51 comments on a video that has only 683 views. That's really good, by the way. 683 views in 3 days, and I only have 393 subscribers on this channel. I'm 7 away from 400. I have 684 views on it now, but I'm 7 away. So I have almost doubled the amount of views on this podcast. People were so triggered because I titled it "The War on Christianity: Our Return to Faith." And I think that there's a war on Christianity. We're not going to get into it. We don't need to have a philosophical debate here. It's just my views, whatever. And I think that dialogue is really important, right? So if people don't, but anyway, I'm getting too fired up. I have gotten so many hate comments. And then I get people telling me that I'm a complainer for responding to the hate comments. It's such an oxymoron. Tell me what you guys think. And Jazan, you actually touched on this 2 lives ago, but tell me what you guys think about this. So I feel like the people who, and again, I'm cool with the hate comments. I'd rather have hate comments than no comments. But I feel like the people who are hate commenting, right? Aren't you the complainer? Aren't you the complainer? And so I'm the bad guy because I called you a nerd. Like I'm the bad guy because I'm like, you're an internet weirdo that took the time out of his day to comment a bad thing on this video. Like I'm the bad guy. I'm the complainer. I don't know. It's so strange to me, the hoops and ladders that people will go through on the internet. It's so interesting because I would never, and this isn't because I'm above thee or, holier than thou. I don't think I have ever or could ever put myself in a position to comment something negative on somebody's video or on anything. Like I've caught myself like when I read a Facebook post, like, man, I kind of want to say this thing is, I kind of want to say something to this, but like I never do it because I'm like, what's the point? Why? Like the ideas that I think are important that I want to talk about, I make a video about it and I talk about it, right? I talk about it. I talk about the important things. So it's like, it's weird to me that people like, and it's all because you feel safe when you're at your house and you're doing this, right? Like you're typing away, you're doing this thing. And for the most part, these people who are leaving hateful comments, like I am truly of the school of thought that like, if you're hating, I'm doing something right. If you're hating, I don't really understand what exactly is bothering you. Do you dislike being called a complainer? And is that the thing that annoys you? No, nothing annoys me. I'm wondering what you guys think about this. I'm genuinely not bothered by people leaving hate comments. What I'm asking is, I feel like it's an oxymoron that you're telling that you're calling me a complainer because I'm talking about, I feel like for example, I feel like Christianity is under attack in some places. Like the premise of the video is that you can't talk poorly about any religion, but for some reason there's a lot of messaging in media and music and all this stuff against Christianity, right? There's a bunch of like all that. So apparently I'm complaining about it. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just giving my viewpoint. Like not complaining, keep doing what you're doing. But I'm just talking about it. And then I'm complaining, but like, isn't the fact that like you're hating on the video or the topic, isn't that you complaining? Like being like, there's no war on this, get over yourself. Isn't that kind of like the person complaining? I think you touched on a topic that's very hate prone. So you step on a bunch of toes, hurt people, try to hurt people back. Yeah. 100,000%, 1,000%. And then there's some people also, by the way, and again, I don't care. As long as I'm getting comments, I have 51 comments on this. So my video is just going to keep getting pushed, which is great. But there's some comments that are really good dialogue. Like they bring up like that they don't agree. Here's why. And I'm like, dude, awesome. That's so cool. But I'm like, the thing is to me is that I have commented back and called people nerds or internet weirdos and stuff like that because I just feel like punching back. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but I've punched back a few times. And then somebody commented, and they're right, by the way. This is right. Somebody said the way that you commented back to the trolls pushed me away from your channel. They're right. They're right. I gave it to them, especially when I'm claiming to be a Christian and I'm not expressing love. Instead, I'm calling people internet weirdos and stuff like that. And that is how I truly feel, but that doesn't mean that's how I should address them. And lobster squid. Lobster squid. That's the other point, right? That's the other thing to this is like somebody like that guy said, you only get, somebody just commented, you only get 700 views. Nobody watches your channel. Okay. I still get money, like and that's a really douchey thing to say, but it's like, yeah, there might not be that many people watching, but nobody's watching you at all. You get what I'm saying? So like, and by the way, I think everyone should have a YouTube channel. I think everybody should be producing content. I don't care what your view is on anything. You should be making the content on whatever you think because, dude, it's a great way for people to make money. It's a great way for you to express your ideas. It's a great way for dialogue. So it's interesting to me because I'm thinking like, even when people are like, you commented back, so you're fragile. You're a fragile person or whatever. I'm like, am I fragile? Like, isn't the person who like started the bicker the fragile one? Like they started it, like they literally took time out of their day to hate on somebody that disagrees with their worldview. So who's the fragile one? And I guess you could definitely make, like I said, I agree with the comment that those people should leave because they didn't like how I interacted with the commenters. I should definitely handle it a different way. But I also think that there's a little portion to life, right, that gets misconstrued. I think some people need to get bullied. Some people I just think need to get bullied, I think it's more about living your values. People lose respect for people who say one thing and act another way. I think it would be good to get clear on what your own values are and think of how you want to respond from those. Yeah. And that's one thing that comment like actually made me think about. I do believe in acting in accordance with the Bible. I do believe in having values. And of course, I'm an imperfect human and stuff. And like, I do want to treat everyone with respect. And I think that, yeah, like for sure, I have taken time to think about this. And even when I don't want to be the bigger person, I can still be the bigger person. And like, it takes reps, takes reps. It takes time. Like, I'm not going to do it every time, but if I can do it more times than not, that's better. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's an oxymoron. I feel like it's an oxymoron to like tell people that they're fragile or whatever when they're the ones who commented on the video in the first place. I would never take I would never take the time out of my day to do that. But just because I wouldn't doesn't mean that other people wouldn't. Lobster squid, everyone needs constructive criticism sometimes. Absolutely. That's actually one of the reasons why I really like Jazand being on the live. Because she's not, well, could be the cultural difference, but she just like says it. She just says what she wants to say. And I like that. And I can respect that. And that's the type of people that I have in my life too. Like the friends that I've eliminated so many friends. I've stopped hanging out with friends with a lot of friends because I feel like I can't be honest with them because they get butthurt and they're not honest with me. And I don't think that's a productive way for anybody to live or a way for anybody to grow. And are they really your friends if you can't be honest with them and they can't be honest with you? And so all the friends that I surround myself with now are willing to call me on my bull crap. And they're willing to be like, hey man, you're not living in accordance with what you say. You better shape up, so I value that a lot. in people. I value that when people will do that type of thing. So yeah, dude, I don't know. We're just gonna keep running up the views, the hate views on that video, I guess. Doesn't matter. I'll take it. You know, like I said. So, yep. That's all I have to say to that. I think dialogue is so important. A little extra tip is that if you don't respond, then your viewers respond, and that gets way more reactions. That could be good. See, I have been just thinking about engagement in general. Like, that's kind of all that goes through my head with that channel is like, I need engagement, views, engagement. And so how I can get that is if I engage back, and then if I engage, they're likely to comment back, and then that pushes in the algorithm. But you're right. I should also let the army of people who like our stuff just like respond to the haters. I'm not going to lie either. I do like a little back and forth. Like, I love debates. I was a philosophy minor in college, and part of that was heavily debating. You know, metaphysics, debate your ideas. Talk about your ideas. And a lot of times in university, they don't do that anymore. There is no open dialogue. Everything is hate speech. Would you want to debate with your haters? Yes. It would be good content. But also, here's what I think the internet has done. I think the internet has provided too many people with a safe space to be a hater, and to say whatever they want, right? Back in, like, the reason why in-person debates are so, for the most part, more civilized, better ideas, better dialogue, is because Sugimoto, I'll address that in a second, is because you're in person. There's the threat of not of violence. I mean, between men, we're gonna get in the weeds a little bit. Between men, there's always a threat of violence, no matter what. Always. You're always thinking about that. There's always that, right? You tread waters carefully on how you speak to other men as a man, because there's always the threat of violence if you're in person. Like, if you disagree and you want it to, you need to keep it civilized. You want to keep it civilized, especially if it's your friend. You know what I mean? Because you don't want a fight to break out between two different friends that have different ideas. That's part of the reason why in person is so good. Over the internet, it's created this format of debate or hate that is so uncivilized, because there is none of that. You can't touch me through the screen. You can't I can talk over you. I can yell. We can make this unwatchable for other people. And it's content, right? Like, people just think about it in terms of content rather than actually discussing ideas. So Would I want to debate haters? Actually, no, hater. So we'll address this now. What's the difference in your mind between haters and someone who merely disagrees with you? I don't think I'd want to debate a hater because haters don't have any ideas to discuss. Somebody who disagrees with me, yeah, for sure, because that has ideas to discuss. A hater to me, a hater to me is somebody that doesn't bring anything to the table in terms of substance, and it's ad hominem attacks. That's what it is. Like, you get 700 views, no one watches your podcast. That's a hater. Somebody who goes, there's no war on Christianity, get over yourself. That's a hater because you're making the assumption that I'm on a high horse based off of a title. Somebody that disagrees with you is somebody who brings substance and dialogue to the table that doesn't accompany their opinion or the opinion that they're trying to express with an ad hominem attack. That's somebody who disagrees and is not a hater. And by the way, I appreciate when people disagree because, again, my mind is focused on what the truth is. I don't care about what I think so much. I want to know the truth. You can change my mind. I'm open to having my mind changed. Is it going to be difficult? Yeah, I'm a hard-headed dude. But I'm open to having a long enough conversation with people most times and listening to their ideas long enough to be able to have my mind change. But that doesn't mean that I think what's interesting too is we've gotten into this place that if you have alternative points of view, or you disagree, or you have questions, or you bring up an argument to somebody's answer, you're hard-headed, you don't have your mind is clearly not open, all this stuff. But it's like, no, that's how you get to the truth. You ask questions, you bring up an opposing point of view, you bring up hypotheticals sometimes. Like, that's literally how you get to the truth. Getting to the truth isn't somebody expresses their opinion to you and you're like, yeah, no, that's right, I changed my mind. That's not getting to the truth. The truth is done in form of question and debate. You talk ideas, whoever has the better idea wins, and how do you figure that out? If both parties agree. I feel like that's a pretty simple metric to go by. I also, again, like, I don't care about the hate comments. It doesn't bother me. I guess, okay, it could seem like I'm bothered by it. I'm not bothered by it. I'm curious. I'm curious to the mind state that you have to be in to do that. A bit of a non sequitur, but I'm actually kind of curious. But when were you at your absolute worst? How much did your hard-headedness help and hinder you? It's a very good question. So when I was at my worst was when I was about 24. And how much did my hard-headedness help and hinder? My hard-headedness is actually what got me through POTS and got me to the point that I'm at now, because I was too hard-headed to listen to the doctors. I was too hard-headed to accept that this was my faith. I don't believe that it's my faith. So I was hard-headed in the sense that, like, I need to get better from this. Nothing's going to convince me otherwise. No doctor can tell me shit. That's what it was. That's what I was hard-headed. Did it hinder me at all? I don't think it did. I think it was actually a blessing. Good question. I think I like the disappointed parent response most. Something that shows the other readers that you take your comment section as a safe space or other kind of space seriously. Yeah. I'm trying to think of how to answer that. or like what my answer is. Because a knee-jerk reaction is I don't look at my comment section over there as a safe space. I think that those people should get bullied. Again, for the same reason that like debate, I feel like is better in person. But at the same time, I don't want to bully people because I do have values. Yeah. Disappointed parent approach is good. That is good. What is your goal with bullying? I don't know if bullying is the word that I'm looking for. I think that I'm communicating that wrong. I think the thing that I'm trying to express is, and I don't know how productive it is. I don't know how useful it is. But it's like when somebody leaves a hate comment or something, it's because they feel comfortable doing that, right? Because they haven't gotten, or maybe they get off on the arguing online. I don't know. But when a baby touches a stove and it's hot, they're likely to not touch that stove again. Does that make sense? You've probably heard that analogy before. And so I guess like punching back is kind of what I mean. Not bullying. It's not bullying. It's like punching back would be the hot stove. Yeah, you want them to learn that it's not okay. Yeah, exactly. But I think sometimes people don't learn that from like you like taking a nice approach. You know what I mean? Like we all know of the kid that like punched other kids or something and didn't learn that it was not okay by being told no. They like figured out that it's not okay by somebody finally punching them back. You know what I mean? Maybe we don't all know that kid, but I've definitely experienced that with people. So yeah, like I'll give you an example. Some people might not agree with this, but my son does jujitsu. So he knows how to fight. You know, my son is 6 years old. He knows how to take care of himself in terms of that. But there's this really naughty kid at his school. And I like watched it happen, right? I watched this kid slap my son in the face and he like plays really hard. And I go, hey man, like you're not going to slap my kid again. And I had a talk with my son after, and it turns out this is the same kid that punched my son in the face. And saying no to this kid is not working. You know, like saying no to this kid is not working. So I gave my son permission to, if he wants to play rough with you, you get to play rough with him back. You know, and because some people just don't learn. They just won't. And it's probably the minority of people, but sometimes they're the loudest, and this kid is the loudest. So I told my son, if he punches you and he's play fighting with you, play fight him back. You know? Yeah. So that's it. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll call his daddy. You know, and that's not something that I've told my son. But if that doesn't work, then I'm going to call his daddy, because his daddy, me, Caden's daddy, don't play that. You know what I mean? Like I don't play that. And so sometimes there's got to be a little bit more than just communication, you know, to make a lesson known, for people to learn a lesson. I can't help but wonder how many of those who criticize you do so because they're placing a great deal of faith in your approach. Like you, they may be hard-headed as well. They want to get better. Yeah, could be. Then get disappointed if they're not seeing improvement. Well, hey, so I don't get any hate comments here. On this channel, I get 0 hate comments. 0. I've gotten a couple, but I don't know if it's hate comments. People are just like, this dude doesn't have POTS. He never had POTS. I don't like, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to like pull up my chart for you and my medical record and be like, here you go. Like, I don't know. I can't even argue with that. You know what I mean? I have a couple times I've been like, you think that I chose a super fringe chronic illness that literally nobody knows about and I wouldn't have known about unless I got diagnosed with this to fake? You know, I've done that, but I don't really get that much here. Lobster squid, people do it for emotional gratification. I think so too. I think that there's something to it that when you leave a hate comment, you're like, yeah, got him. Got him. So we're coming up on the longest stream I've ever done. Which is on. I've heard of people private messaging their haters to find out why they do it. There's content on it if you want to better understand these people and to explore ways you'd want to respond. I've seen that too, where people like DM their hater and their hater's like, I was just trying to get your attention. I'd be more interested if a hater or like if somebody hit me in the DMs or hit me with a nice, like I literally, one of the dudes that left a nuanced comment that was like something disagreeing with me, I told him, I want you to hit me up in the DMs on Instagram. Such a better approach if you want attention, in my view. Matthew Jinkowitz just joined. Haha, 2 hours late. It's good to have you. I'm about to hop off soon. I don't tell people I have POTS anymore because they usually don't believe me. What's the context of like you telling people that you have POTS? Like when I'm at the gym, I try to mask my symptoms by laying down sometimes, and then people ask you why you're doing it, and they don't believe you when you say you have a chronic illness. Oh, you don't tell it. So like, what's the context of like telling somebody that you have POTS? Because I don't look sick. Yeah, but why are you telling people in the first place that you have POTS? Like, what would be the scenario that you would tell somebody you have POTS? I've only ever told my friends if I meet someone else who share about their chronic illness with me. Diabetics don't look sick either. Like saying I have an autonomic disorder just confuses them and they walk away or end the convo. LOL. I used to tell them about POTS as a way to identify with them. Sometimes they don't believe me. That's weird. What don't they believe? Like, what are they saying? Like, they don't believe it's a thing, or that's even more wild. My physical health has improved so much that they think I'm making it up. But I still have flares. I only tell people if they're asking why I don't feel well. And it's always like, oh, I think I have that. I get dizzy when I stand up, and I'd be knowing I don't drink water. No way. That's freaking funny, dude. Do you say that to them? I be knowing damn well you don't drink no water, fool. That's funny. When I told work what I was diagnosed with, the common response was, that sounds like some made up stuff. I just laughed it off. I have never, I don't know. Man, I don't know, man. I'm old school. Could it be that people feel weird that you'd bring up your illness when they tell you about yours? Some people are, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. That's kind of what, like, not trying to be like a dick, dude, at all. That's why I'm like, I don't even know what the context would be to bring up pots with somebody, because at least for me personally, right? Like, it's like, I have, dude, some of my best friends have no idea. Like, some of my best friends have no idea, but I'm super old school, right? Like, I don't ask for help with anything. I don't want people, like, for the most part, I don't want people to know nothing about me. Like, so that's why I'm like, I don't even know what the context could be that I would tell somebody I have POTS, sometimes I tell people, like, just off, like, randomly, but it's just like, yeah, I have this thing called POTS. It's weird, that type of thing. Or if, like, people find my content, that's when I tell somebody. But, like, legit, I have only told my friends about this thing one time when I was, like, wasted, like 3-4 years ago. There was, like, this big stair set, and I was like, oh my gosh, dude. And I just told them, like, I don't, I don't know. That sucks. I'm sorry. Sucks that happens. People are how they are, dude. And, like, POTS is, like, kind of an invisible disease, Well, at work, people were like, why are you out of breath? Why are you missing work? How are you so fatigued, etc. And the whole sitting down and laying down, or the heart rate skyrocketing thing. Here's my thing, right? Like, I don't want no freaking sorry. I give sorry to someone who needs it. Yeah, for sure. Usually when I interact with people who know family members. Here's the thing, and you guys will find a lot of freedom in this, okay? They have heard I'm sick, so I feel obligated to educate them. I was just about to say something on that. Here's the thing. This will do a lot for your guys' lives when you realize this. You literally owe no one an explanation for anything. And the less time that you give, explaining yourself to people, the more time you have to focus on doing what's necessary, right? Like, I do not explain anything to anybody. I don't care. Like, if I accidentally hurt somebody in a process of doing something, that's the only time that I ever explain something to somebody. But I find it so mind-blowing that people, for some reason, believe that they owe other people an explanation for their life. It's like, it's such a waste of time. They're not going to understand anyway, or at least I operate with the frame that they don't understand. And if they do, it still doesn't matter that they understand, because what are they going to do for me? Just kind of like what Mike said, earn progress. I don't want, oh, freaking sorry. Give sorry to someone who needs it. I'm the same way. One of my friends just went to the CrossFit semifinals, and he missed his spot to the semifinals. And so many people are going to tell him, sorry that happened to you. Sorry you went through that, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, for someone like him, especially like a man's man, right? It's like, he doesn't want you to say sorry to him. Like, why would you say sorry to him? You know, he's just like, he's the type of dude that's going to put his head down and do the work, you know, and then like he missed it. Oh, well, you know, like go do the work. Like, don't tell him you're sorry for, you know, man, this is a kind of a masculine issue. I don't need to go that deep into it. Unfortunately. Yeah, I am sorry that happened to you, dude. But if you get that, if that's a normal reaction that you've been getting, then just, you should never feel obligated to telling anybody anything. You just should not feel obligated to explain anything to anybody. Why are you so fatigued? I don't know, man. Just am. Or, I mean, even like a really uncomfortable thing. Like this comes from Alex Hormozy, right? Like, why are you so fatigued? Why don't you come out? Hey, man, it's a personal issue. It's none of your business. You know, people don't like to have that kind of dialogue and those kinds of conversations because it's awkward. It's awkward the first time you tell somebody, hey, that's a personal issue. It's none of your business. You know, like we want to please people so bad by giving them explanations. We want people to understand us. It's not useful. It's not useful. I don't tell people, but if an older person asks why I don't feel good, they want to be like, you're too young to feel like that. Yeah. Yeah, duh. I would get really pale and about to pass out, trying to big to pull wire, etc. Work was concerned that I would have issues on site, so it became an issue. But then I started working with you one-on-one, and it improved. Yes, sir. I hope you can get back to work next week or next month. Yeah, give sympathy to someone weak and sad and giving up. I don't want that crap. That is a big part of it. An example of having to explain yourself is at work. I was wrote up for sitting in a vacant room in a nursing facility as a CNA for trying to bring my heart rate back down. Yeah, that's different. That's different. You're at work. You're getting paid. You know, you're on the clock. So yeah, those people you kind of do owe an explanation to. But like random people, like in life, like family members, maybe like extended family or whatever, and like just randoms or like friends, like I don't know, dude. Like you just don't owe anybody an explanation. Like you definitely do not owe somebody an explanation. You don't owe anybody. You don't even owe people your time, right? Like I think what's really annoying is when people like, and this just goes into the whole thing of like, you don't owe anything to anyone, right? You don't owe anything to anybody. When you like don't text somebody back and they're aggravated that you don't text them back, it's like, why do you feel so entitled to my time in the first place? You know what I mean? Especially if it's on some dumb stuff. It's not about like plans that you guys had. It's not about like whatever. You just didn't text back because it was a stupid text message. And some people are going to get triggered by me saying this, but it's true. Like if somebody sends me a reel and I don't respond and they get pissed, I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, who cares? I didn't respond to a reel. Big whoop, dude. Like, was it important? No, I'm busy. I have stuff to do. I don't need to respond to your text message. And the fact that you are so entitled to my time that you're upset I didn't respond to a freaking comedy reel that you sent me, wow. Like, that says something about you. Like, you don't respect my time. So all that to say is like, when people ask you things, don't feel obligated. You do not need to be obligated. People would get annoying when I mentioned an ADHD symptom, so I switched to naming only the symptoms and not the diagnosis, and just saying that I just have that sometimes. I'll do that with POTS too. It's a good strategy. When guys ask me why I'm so out of breath, I'm like, because your mama been keeping me up. When chicks ask, I'm like, yo, dad been keeping me up all night, dog. Before my diagnosis, I'd always say I just don't have a lot of energy. Yeah. I don't know. I approach life differently, you know? And I just don't think that I owe anybody anything. Like if you keep getting let down, if people show you patterns, it's like it's kind of on you then. You know, it's on you. Like if people are showing you patterns and they continuously let you down, or they continuously do things that kind of like irk you or whatever, it's like it's your fault at a certain point. It is your fault because you keep answering, like you keep doing things, you know? Anyway, guys, this is the longest stream that I've done. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. I got to get off of here. I got to go work on some business, and then I got to I gotta go work out. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that I'm ending it abruptly. I literally just looked at the time. It's 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 32 seconds right now. I got to get out of here. I got to go do some other stuff. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, be your own best health advocate. If you haven't already, go hit that link in the description for 2 free weeks on the training protocol. You get a bunch of resources on how to deal with hydration, heat tolerance, different supplements I recommend, how to get your steps in, why steps are so important, an exercise program. You get a food journal. I'm going to put in a macro calculator for you guys if you guys need that at some point. But yeah, I definitely recommend going and signing up for that program. 2 weeks free, $50 a month after that. And yeah, otherwise hit me up for one-on-one coaching if you need a little bit larger of a dive in. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here. Talk to y'all later. If you haven't liked the video yet, like it. Peace out. Goodbye.